Hey folks, this is Mary. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a brand new year. Today is January 1st, 2021, the first day of a whole new year, and I thought it would be a nice, relaxing way to welcome in the new year by doing a little Zentangling and answering Chris Science's fountain pen tag questions. So here I am, sitting down with my materials, and I'm wondering if I can remember how to do this. And I was thinking originally that I was going to do this as a voiceover and perhaps even use my spectacular brand new USB microphone, but that might be a little too much excitement for Miss Mary. Oh, and I do have my tea. So here's my cup. This is my lovely Washington mug. I don't know if I can show this to you without spilling my tea. But Washington, that's Mount Rainier. Washington's my favorite place in the world. And I'm enjoying a little Constant Comment tea, also one of my favorites. So I took a Zentangling class at the Muse Writing Center over in Norfolk. And it is right next door to the Norfolk Stationery, the best little pen shop in the world. And they have all kinds of classes there. They have writing classes, they have art classes, songwriting classes, just a little bit of everything. And our instructor told us that the best tool to use was a felt tip pen, which they supplied us with. And I have my Sharpie here, but since I'm all about fountain pens, I wanted to try to use a fountain pen. So this is my Platinum Preppy, loaded up with some Heart of Darkness, and we'll see how well this does. This is some mixed media paper. I think it's about, I don't know, about 90 pound maybe. So it's kind of thick. It has a little bit of tooth to it, so we'll see how this Preppy does on this paper. And if that doesn't work, then I'll just switch over to my Sharpie. Okay, so I think the way we begin the Zentangle is we make 4 dots in each corner, and then we connect the dots. And one thing about Zentangling is we're not looking for perfection, we're not looking for straight lines. It's all about zen and relaxation. And I also think our instructor told us we should always bring the pen towards us, but obviously you can see I'm not doing that right now. But I'll get there. So anyway, we connect our dots, and then there are different things you can do inside the shape, and they're called strings, the shapes inside your figure. And you can divide it up and do different Zentangles inside the shape. But I'm going to do one today that's going to take up the whole square, if I can remember how to do it correctly. So I am going to attempt to do a Zentangle while answering questions. So this should be interesting to see if my mouth and my hands can operate individually. Okay, so the first question is, do you have a favorite ink brand? And my first thought when I read this question was, no, I don't. But then I was thinking, my favorite inks, two of my favorite inks are Monteverde Horizon Blue and Monteverde California Teal. So if 2 of my favorite inks come from the same brand, then doesn't that mean that that's my favorite ink brand? Well, perhaps, but since I'm the one that gets to say whether or not I like it, I could say whether or not that's my favorite. So I don't know. I love Noodlers. Noodlers was the first ink that I purchased. There's so many Monteverde inks that I like. I love Troublemaker, but they're so hard to come by. I mean, Diamine has a gazillion different blues that I love. There's just so many things to think about. So I'm not sure. So I guess I would have to say, no, I don't have a favorite, because how could I possibly pick a favorite? How's that? Okay. The next question is, how many pen pals do you have? Lots, few, or none? Well, I have a few, and I would probably have a lot more if I was a better pen pal. I think this is something that all people struggle with, but for some reason I feel like I'm the only one that has this problem. But I have a terrible time with writing back to people in a timely manner. And then, of course, I always stress about it. You know, is my letter long enough? Is my handwriting nice enough? Do I include things with the letter? Because if you look online, you see people putting together pen pal packages, and they just have all kinds of cute things included and stickers, and they make things, and, you know, am I supposed to be Martha Stewart when I put together my pen pal package? Do I have to put together a pen pal package? Can I just write a letter? I don't know. So, you know, I'm a worrywart naturally. And the last thing I need is one more thing to worry about. So all of these worries tend to cause me to procrastinate and feel like I'm, you know, not doing it right. I'm doing it poorly. So I need to get over those things and just write to people. I mean, people write to each other to send and receive information. That's the main thing. Nobody cares if there are stickers. Hopefully, nobody cares if there are stickers. So, anyway, and I do have to mention, I was really interested in pen paling last year. And at the beginning of what year is it? At the beginning of 2020, I was determined to write a letter a day for the whole year. And I started off like gangbusters. I wrote letters and wrote letters and wrote letters. And I got this letter from a man on the Fountain Pen Network because they have a space there where you can, you know, request pen pals. And he wrote me what was probably the best letter I have ever received in my life. It was just interesting and friendly, and he used beautiful inks, and I loved everything about the letter. And that was right about the time that my boyfriend became sick. So I just kind of let a lot of things go. And this was long before I even started my YouTube channel. So for like a year and a half, I have been thinking about this man and his letter and how I need to reply to him. So that is one of my goals for this year, to catch up on all of my letter writing and all of my replies and, you know, kind of get back into it and keep myself on track. And I think I might be smearing the ink a little bit. This might be one of the reasons why the instructor said to use a felt tip pen, because I guess the fountain pen ink isn't drying fast enough. But I will try very carefully not to touch the edges and just touch in the middle. So anyway, yes, I have a few pen pals. I would like to have more pen pals, and I would like to be a better pen pal. All right, up next, are you all done buying fountain pens? Alas, no. I can't seem to stop myself. I love them so much. They're just like little lost puppies, and I want to give them all homes. But I think I have purchased the major pens that I'm interested in. There are a couple of super fancy ones that I would love to get someday. Of course, I can't think of the name right now, but there's a pen company in Hawaii, and they do a pen that's supposed to look like lava. Oh, shoot, what's the name of that volcano in Hawaii? Mauna Loa, Mauna Kea. Anyway, you know the one I'm talking about. The continuously erupting volcano in Hawaii. They do a pen that's inspired by that. They do one that's inspired by the blue ocean waves. That is the one that I want. The one that looks like the blue ocean waves. Oh my goodness, that pen is so gorgeous. But do I need it? No. Is there anything particularly special about it? No, it's just beautiful. As I heard somebody say one time, these are just beautiful nib holders. So it can wait. So yeah, I want to try to slow down my pen buying in the coming year, because I have plenty, and I have plenty that I have not even inked up yet. So I think I should focus on what I have and stop trying to get more when I really don't need any more. But in the future, I will still always want to buy more pens. And the next question is, how many people have you spread the fountain pen fever or hobby to? Well, probably not that many, if any at all. I gave my cousin a graduation present of a Leuchtturm 5-year diary and a Pilot Metropolitan, and she seemed interested in it, but I don't think she has the bug. And several of my coworkers have expressed interest in my pens, because I always have my pens at work and I'm always talking about them. And a few of them, you know, said they were interested, so I gave them pens, you know, some little inexpensive pens, and showed them how to ink the pens up. And nobody has been back to ask to either re-ink the pen or to ask how to clean the pen. So I guess they just put the pens aside and forgot about them. So they don't have the bug either. So that's about it, I think. I don't think there's anyone else that I've really had an influence on, unfortunately. Let's see. The next question. Who influenced you into the hobby? Well, I think I have the same answer that I've heard a lot of other people give. I was influenced by Cara Benz from Boho Berry. And I got to tell you the whole story. I was looking for information on National Novel Writing Month, NaNoWriMo, at the end of October in 2017. And I won't explain what NaNoWriMo is. I'll let you discover that on your own. But she had made a bullet journal about NaNoWriMo. And I had no idea what a bullet journal was. So I just became interested in her and started watching her videos and, you know, listening to the things she talked about. And she talked me into starting a bullet journal, which I thought was a crazy idea at first. But she kept talking about fountain pens, and I thought that was a crazy idea. But lo and behold, she talked me into that too. So I made my first purchase of fountain pens on jet pens in December of that year. And I also started watching Goulet pen videos, and it was a struggle. It wasn't instant love, but it has eventually become love. And I think I'll talk about that more in a future question. All right, my favorite fountain pen friendly notebook or paper. Gosh, there's so many that I like, but my favorites are probably the more inexpensive ones. I love the Exceed notebooks from Walmart, and I love the Caliber notebooks from CVS. I really wish CVS would create bound notebooks with that paper. I keep thinking about writing letters to them, asking them to, you know, make a notebook in bound paper, but I haven't done it yet because I just feel like they would completely ignore me. But somebody has to do it. Somebody has to start, so why not me? And I also really love the notepads from Dollar General. That is really nice paper too, but again, they're just tear-off notepads, and I really wish the paper was bound into a journal. Okay. Oh, let's have a tea break. Okay. Have you ever thought of quitting the hobby and getting rid of all of your pens? Yes, I have. So I mentioned December 2017, I purchased my first fountain pens from Jet Pens, and I was not impressed. I got some really inexpensive ones. I got a couple of Preppies in 2 different sizes. I got an Olika, and I got a Plaisir. I think there might have been one other one. So, you know, not expensive pens. I didn't want to spend a lot of money on this hobby if I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy it. So I was just not impressed with these pens. So then I was watching the Goulet videos, and he recommended the Pilot Metropolitan. So I went on Amazon and I bought a couple of those in different nib sizes. Well, the only ones that they had at the time, which were medium and fine. And I didn't like those either. And I just thought they were scratchy, and I didn't know what all the hype was about. And I regretted buying them because, you know, the Metropolitans at the time were about $15. And oh my goodness, $15 for a pen. I used to think it was outrageous to buy a Dr. Grip for $7 or $8. And here was this fountain pen that cost twice that much. So at that point, I was ready to give up. I didn't think they were for me. And I just put them away and didn't use them for months. But then I was on the internet looking at videos or doing something, December of 2018. And I think I was on Amazon, and I saw that they had a limited edition all black Lamy Safari, the special edition of the year. And it was on sale. You know me in sales, I couldn't resist. So I purchased that limited edition all black Safari, and I loved it. It was smooth and comfortable. It was easy to write with. I just liked it so much. And then I was back. I was hooked again. And I haven't looked back ever since then. Now, at this point, would I ever get rid of my pens? No. I think fountain pens will be a fixture in my life for the rest of my life. All right. Whoop. Trying to advance my questions here. If you could meet any famous fountain pen person, who would it be? Gosh, there's so many that I would like to meet. And, of course, I don't know how famous any of these people are, but I would really like to meet David from Fig Boot on Pens. His videos are just so informative and well done, and I just love his commentary. And I'm sure he's a really smart person, and I would just love to sit down and have a conversation with him. A conversation with him about anything, fountain pens or whatever. I think he's so interesting. But honestly, I would like to meet any fountain pen people because I feel like there aren't that many of us out there. And I've been introduced to so many wonderful people on YouTube who like fountain pens, so I would like to meet all the creators behind the channels that I love. Of course, Chris Sines, who started this fountain pen tag, and Sarah over at Fountain Pen Insanity, who does such beautiful artsy videos. Just everybody. I just love you guys. This is such a great community. So, again, we're going to have a meetup sometime, or, you know, coffee at my house, anytime. Okay. Next up is, ideally, how many fountain pens would you like to own? It can be more or less than you currently have. This is a tough one, because it's hard to say. I have a 48 pen case that I got on Amazon. And I'm thinking that if I had 48 pens to fill up that case, that would be enough. But also, I don't think that would be enough. So, I mean, there's just so many different pens I like, and different styles and different nibs. So, maybe two 48 pen cases. Not including my vintage pens. My vintage pens are just a different animal. But I don't know. How many pens do I have now? I have more than that. I don't exactly know how many pens I have. I've never sat down and counted. I probably don't want to know how many I have. But I probably should. You know, just to have a count. Oop, well, that line looks terrible. But, you know, just to know where I stand as far as the hobby goes. Let me see. What is next? Favorite pen cases or sleeves? I mentioned I have a 48 pen case from Amazon. I like that one a lot. I like all of my pen cases. I have that blue dragon pen roll that I did a video about. I love that. A wonderful subscriber sent me a canvas pen roll that I love too. And I started with some Leehit Lab pen cases. And they're just really basic. They're kind of like a pencil case with just like an elastic band in the middle. So they're really basic, but I like them too. So I like them all. They all serve their purpose, and they all have their own nice attributes about them. So it's hard to pick a favorite. But I don't know, probably if I did have to pick a favorite, it would probably be the Dragon Pen Roll. It's just beautiful. I love it. All right, if you could go to any pen show in the world, which one would it be? Well, I live not that far from Washington, D.C., and I know at some point I'm going to make it to the DC Super Show. And actually, I had planned to go to the DC Super Show in 2020, but as we all know, COVID happened, so I couldn't go this year. But I will definitely get there in the future. So I don't want that to be on my dream list of pen shows. This was really tough. I think I would like to go to the Tokyo Pen Show, just because there are so many interesting Japanese pen brands and there are so many Asian ink brands that I like. I would love to go there where they are and kind of meet them in their own element. And also, while I'm in Tokyo, I could hit some of the awesome pen shops they have there because they just look amazing online. And I would really love to go to that ink show that Inky Rocks talked about on her channel, where it was just a room full of inks and they gave you a dip pen and you could just walk around and dip your pen in all the inks and write in your little notebook. Oh, that just sounds like heaven. I don't know if that was a one-time thing or if they do that every year, but oh my goodness, I would love to do that so much. But then of course I would have to have a second suitcase to put all of my ink in, because you can't take liquid on a plane. And I would have a lot of it. Oh, my goodness. Okay, the final question is, how much space do you dedicate to the hobby? Well, I don't exactly have an office space set up right now. I just have this little desk that I use. But most of my dining room is taken up with fountain pen stuff. And I have a china cupboard that I inherited from my grandmother, and she kept all of her treasures in the china cupboard, and now I keep my treasures in the china cupboard. Except our treasures are completely different. Hers were beautiful, you know, porcelain, ceramic, glass items, and mine are fountain pens and inks. So in the upper part of the china cupboard, where there are glass doors, I have all of my ink bottles. And I just think they look so beautiful behind those glass doors, and it makes me so happy every time I walk by the cabinet and look at those beautiful bottles. But it's getting to the point where I have too many bottles in the cabinet, and it's looking cluttered instead of beautiful. And I have them in their boxes to protect them, so it just looks like a cabinet full of boxes. It doesn't look like a cabinet full of beautiful glass bottles. So I don't know what I want to do with that. If I want to, you know, put some away and then kind of rotate them so they can all be displayed at some point. If I should take them out of their boxes occasionally so I can look at the pretty bottles. I don't know. But anyway, the little drawer in the middle of the cabinet, I have all of my like accessories, my cleaning supplies, my nib tuning supplies, which I have yet to use. Well, that just looks terrible too. And my fountain pen paper and the stickers that I've gotten from pen orders and things like that. And then underneath I have all of my journals. Now, these are the blank journals that I'm waiting to write in, and most of them are not fountain pen friendly. They are just journals I have collected over the years because I thought the journals were pretty and I wanted to write in them. But I haven't been writing in them because they're not fountain pen friendly. Probably if I used a fine nib in them, they would be okay, but I don't really like using a fine nib all that much, even though this Preppy is a fine nib and it's doing fine. So anyway, so yeah, that is where I store everything. And then right now on my dining room table, I have, you know, piles of ink samples and piles of pen boxes and just stuff that needs to be dealt with. So not much eating happens at my dining room table. It's mostly fountain pen activities that happen at my dining room table, which is okay with me because that's what I enjoy doing. Oh my goodness, I am just doing terrible. All right, well, I was afraid I would finish my Zentangle before I finished the questions, so I slowed down on my drawing, but now I have finished the questions before I finished my drawing. So I need to talk about something else. But, you know, it's easy to talk about pens. Ooh, I should tell you some of the things that I'm planning on doing. My head is just overflowing with ideas for videos, and this past week I haven't made any videos because I am positively paralyzed with indecision. I don't know which video to make next. There's just so much I want to do, and I just need to sit down and do it and stop thinking about it and stop planning it. But I finally sat myself down and wrote out all of the video ideas that I've been having lately, and it was 15 different videos. I couldn't believe it. And this is not including the list that I came up with before I started my channel. That was probably, I don't know, 50 or 60 ideas that I had then. But these are just 15 ideas that I've had in the last few weeks, you know, since I restarted making videos. So there is lots of fun stuff to come. But if you guys are interested in any particular kind of video, just let me know and I will add that to the list. And we are coming to the end of our drawing here. This has been really fun, and Zentangle is wonderful. If you've never tried it before, it looks intimidating because the final product is so fascinating, but the process of it is really, really simple. I mean, it's simple shapes and simple lines, and you combine them to make these wonderful pictures. And it really is very relaxing. It really is very zen. So I highly recommend it. And if you get the chance to take a class, I would take a class because it's fun to be around like-minded people, just like it's fun to be around like-minded fountain pen people. Okay, so to finish this off, I'm just going to color in the center, which you can do or you could not do. It's up to you with your drawing, which you decide to do. She did have us color in ours in the class, but you could leave it open if you wanted to. So this is what my finished drawing looks like, and that looks pretty groovy. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope you enjoyed the questions, and I will see you again very soon. This was video number 1 out of the 15 that I want to do. So stay tuned for some more fountain pen video fun, and I hope you have a wonderful new year. Take care. Bye-bye.